No, but there was a sense that of serious concern. You've known me a long time. I really am concerned about how fragile democracy is. That sounds corny, but I mean, I really am concerned because you've heard me say it 100 times. I really think we're at an inflection point in history here. We're unrelated to any particular leader. Things are going to change drastically. And it occurs every 5 or 6 generations. And it usually is generated by technology, usually generated by, I mean, for example, if Gutenberg didn't invent the printing press, how that would Europe ever gotten united in any way to understand what each country is thinking? I mean, it sounds stupid, but it really matters. And what I realize is that, look, I got involved, I didn't think about it this way, but I got involved in public life because of the abuse of power. I mean, my dad would say, you know, the greatest sin of all is the abuse of power. And I was raised in a circumstance where, like I used to always talk about how the worst thing ever happened to me was I used to stutter when I was a kid. And you really get made fun of when you talk like that. And, but I realized maybe it was the greatest gift I ever got, because there's so many people who are in circumstances where they have something that they're dealing with that's beyond their immediate control. And I watched how I was a runt when I was a kid. I was a small kid. I was a pretty good athlete all the time, but I was, and you know, I learned how to fight when I didn't want to fight. But when you get made fun of, you learn to step up. But what it did was, it made me realize that there's so damn many bullies around. And I now extrapolate that all the way to democracy. The reason for all the safeguards out there is, in a very trite way to say it, keep the bullies from taking advantage of everybody else. They're basic guardrails. And I think that this concentration of enormous wealth and power in a circumstance where everything's changing, and the biggest thing that's changing is how we communicate with one another. I mean, all kidding aside, did you ever think at the point where you weren't sure who the editors were? Who's out there saying, no, you can't print that? You can't say it's not true. I mean, it's like, and when the multi, and when people aren't participating in paying their fair share, I have no problem with people making millions of dollars. But for God's sake, pay your fair share. And in taxes and participation.